glory and greatness. Yo, what's up, ESO community? And what's up, Fet? Sorry about that, I was off mic, doing
The wings take your ass!
Alright. See how Cyrodiil looks. Don't even know why camo even commented on the streams, but anyway. Yeah, I'm a werewolf. Did not expect to run into all them guys. What's up? You still like Imperial Warden? Yeah. I kind of prefer him for like 1v1s and stuff. He can survive way better than my Sorc can. But in Werewolf form, I prefer my Sorc. What's up, Harvest, and what's up, Devil Hellhound? Damn it, dude. Well, that kind of sucks. Well, you usually run on Imperial Warden. Practically the same until my Sorc runs. Maybe modified a little bit differently. Might be a tankier set. I usually prefer my Lessian and Vigor builds on my Warden. Kind of synergizes better. Yeah, Truth and Salvation with Ancient Guardian. Yeah, you got a lot of damage right there, but no, barely any sustain. Your only sustain can come from your Ancient Guardian proc, and that can be easily interrupted. Yeah, Hulking would be better with Truth. Salvation doesn't give you a lot of damage, like a lot of weapon damage. It's usually just used for utility. Yeah, I'm wearing Eternal Vigor and Hulking right now on my Sorc. On my Warden, it's a little different story. It kind of goes with a tankier setup. Like I said, Alessian and Vigor and Shooting most likely, or Ancient Guardian. Depends on the scenario, maybe Troll King, but if I really want to kill somebody, I'll put this build on. When 1v1 or whatever. Or I could use my broken ass Imperial Physique build, 65k stamina and 2-tap people, but I'm not nice to do right now. Was there, but barely escaped those guys. Yeah, Harvest could you started on a new account on Xbox, so yeah, you gotta start over again. I'm not really a big streamer or nothing like that. I just kind of do it for fun every once in a while. I don't really expect to get a bunch of views from streaming, but I just do it for fun. Be more active with the community itself, I guess. But I guess if streaming was more my thing every day, obviously I would start getting guys who like to watch streams. Let's be honest, I think we all prefer to play the game than actually watch a stream. So. And besides, people don't like watching werewolves unless you're a werewolf player. It gets a lot of hate, so nobody really likes to watch it, I guess. Werewolf's easy mode when you run a tank build, obviously. A lot of sustain, but Deadly's trash. I don't like that set. Absolutely trash. It doesn't even give you enough dot damage. It's for like channeled abilities as well. It's trash, man. I wouldn't even bother messing with it. You better off running Blood Drinker at that point. Let's see. Yeah, 65k max stamina or 64 max stamina with 4,000 something weapon damage is 11,000 weapon damage, and you add the 25% modifier from Malakav. That's about 13,000 something damage. So then you cut that in half, it's almost 7,000, 6,000 to 7,000. Because your battle spirit passive in PvP, everything gets cut in half. So. I'm not too sure on the arena. I think if you're talking about Maelstrom, then I think so. Or something like that. Talking about the other one, I have no idea. Yeah, most likely RNG. Yes, Unleash Terror and Eternal Vigor is a good combination, because Unleash Terror, you can just reapply it if somebody cleanses it, just pounce again. Yo, what's up, Set? Yeah, I don't really know, to be honest with you. But Alessia farm. I don't know about that. Willis Pass is pretty good. I made a video with it. Eternal Vision Willis Pass gives you a lot of recoveries. That's a build that you can try out. Harvest. Since you're a low level, you might want to try that out. Man, there's always blues taking stuff. Man, freaking train over there. Yeah, figured. Alright. Probably every single one of them guys probably have a proc set on there. Yeah, I have a Discord. I'll actually have to start a thing. I have like a Discord account, but I haven't made a chat for it yet. So I will. let's see, man, I don't know, sometimes Cyrodiil just seems like it's just fucking, like, dead sometimes, and then there's a bunch of people on it at one random time. Okay. Then you go with the actions at, stop dealing with these loners up here. Alright. Nah, this is NA. I do have an EU account though, but I barely play on it. One, I'm also kind of a lower level on there, so. But I do go into BGs over there sometimes. But normally when I log on the EU account, I usually don't see any people on. Probably because I'm on at the wrong hour, so I realize they're on the other side of the world, so. Yeah. Yeah, Harvest, I already bought the pre-order and everything. I'm actually gonna do a walkthrough of that game. Like, little walkthrough of the story mode and stuff. So you guys can kind of see if you want to buy it or not. I don't know. I don't know if the game's gonna be that good. Controller, that was weird. So normally what happens when you have your charger plugged in for too long or whatever, that will happen. It'll eventually like do that. I don't know how to explain it. It's weird. Since my controller died but I had full battery, that means I get the charger up. Yeah, see. But anyway, back on the apocalypse thing. Yeah, I'm gonna do a stream on that. Live walkthrough. Yeah, just look it up. Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthblood. It better not be like no damn Cyberpunk though. Kid you not. Because I do have, I'm buying on last gen, I'm not buying on the new gen. If it's like ass on last gen but great on new gen, then I'll have to rebuy it again. Well, no I don't. Because I have this account, I can just transfer over. Re-download it on PS5. But, yeah. The game's basically based around a werewolf named Kakal, or his name is somewhere, whatever. And you're part of this tribe known as the Fiona Pack, which comes from the World of Darkness series, RPG tabletop game. There's like multiple different tribes of werewolves depending on your like wherever you live. So if you're like Ireland and stuff, and you're like Irish, you'd be Fiona Pack. If you're from like the Norse countries, you'd probably be part of the Get the Fenris Pack. I don't know. It's a bunch of role-playing stuff. I don't know. I'm not really big into that role-playing crap, but it has some really unique little features here and there. The werewolves are very, very powerful in the Apocalypse series because you basically fight these interdimensional beings from the worm. They're pretty much what they are. They come from a different dimension. And they're just like, they're kind of like mixtures between like demonic and like just extraterrestrial dimensional beings. And then you also can fight other werewolves as well. And probably get bombed. Yeah. Let's nerf werewolf, but not worry anything about bombers though, right? I hate when Templars put this bubble because it kind of like protects them from projectiles. even know I got the tech bot. I'll keep posting. Probably also watching the stream, but here. Yeah, the worm. That's basically what the worm is. You're pretty much right. So mounts in this game are like cars, right? So it basically makes you're not capped at movement speed. Now, well, I think they do have a cap now, but it's way higher than regular player movement speed. So if I was running like a coward's gear build back in the old days, I could probably run them down and kill them. But what would be the point of that? Yeah, the only blue werewolves I don't like is probably Paw Patrol. But not really so much everybody in that group, just the little leader. No, I basically play Ebonheart, but I do have like a few blues. I used to have a yellow, but I'm basically all red now. Yeah, correct, Harvest, correct. Yeah, I forgot about the Weaver. Which is basically those weird, like, zombie-like dudes in that series. But either way, I get to fight very powerful beings as a werewolf, so it'd be pretty cool. It'd be a pretty cool game. But if you actually look at some of the gameplay and you read into some of their stuff, and you just watch the gameplay as well, you'll notice that the werewolf can fight like 10 people at one time, pretty easily. Ragdoll them around, fight giant robots. That's why you don't talk to idiots on ESO that don't know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to like werewolf power leveling and scaling. Like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And guys like, oh, Dragon Knight can kill you. Well, Dragon Knights don't even exist in the Elder Scrolls. They don't. At least talking about like Akabiri, but they don't. Pyromancers and shit do. But I don't really see that point. Yeah. Well, I would say the werewolves in Apocalypse are probably stronger than the ones in Elder Scrolls. Definitely. I'm talking about the lore anyway. The ones in Apocalypse have a bunch of different abilities. Don't get me wrong, the ones in Elder Scrolls do as well, but they're not on the same level. At least when it comes to like the magical powers and stuff like that. Strength level, werewolves are all pretty much have the same strength, physical strength, depending on their stuff. Some are stronger than others, but on average. Or would you be willing to help with a good balance build of tanky versus damage build of Battlegrounds? I like it there, but you can't use it. Can't use. Okay, so if you want a balanced build that does damage and also has tankiness, the only build I think you could probably run would be Alessian Eternal Vigor with Malakath. Probably on a Warden so you get ultimate, but if you want to be able to kill somebody in human form, you really only have two options. It'd be a Templar or a Nightblade. You can do it on Sorc too, if you can line up your Dizzy Swing and crap, but it's not intended for that. But you could probably run it on the Sorc in wolf form. You have sustain and damage. But Alessian, probably on a Orc, so you'll have damage as well. One with Vigor, Malakath. Probably Tri-Stat, and if you don't want Tri-Stat, then you can do all infused. In Battlegrounds, you kind of just want to stay alive long enough to finish off your opponent, because in BGs, a lot of people, since the CP is not in play, a lot of people are not as tanky as they would be in the CP environment. So, just keep that in mind. They're going to be squishy, so you can probably run some stupid tank build and kill people. Not in wolf, but yeah. But when you actually like look into the lore of the different varieties of werewolves from different movies, films, pop culture, mythology, you'll see that there's werewolves kind of consistent on the basics. But then when it comes to like transformation at will, different type of transformation or forms, it varies. But the notion of being a werewolf is, you have the traits of a wolf. Either if you don't have the full traits, you still display that wild nature, that predatorial hunter type nature. You're wild, basically. You can basically explode on somebody at any moment. You're basically a lunatic, lunar, referring to the moon, but the moon thing, the full moon thing didn't really exist until the movies. The only thing about a moon that I could find references on goes back to a poem, like an old Roman poem about a Roman soldier, and it was apparently a moonlight, it was a full moon or something, or it didn't even say full moon, it just said that it was a moon out there, and the Roman soldier turned into a wolf and did something, but it doesn't have any references to werewolves turning on at the full moon. Matter of fact, in the Elder Scrolls lore, you don't really find any full moon references for werewolves because they can kind of turn whatever. But you do hear Sinding reference a moon phase, like where he says, like, you probably heard some of the werewolves can turn onto the moon or turns into the moon or something like that, or beast or whatever, something like that. Basically, reference that moon. I guess the moon can cause some type of crazy reaction, which is another reference pointing to the lunar activity. Basically, when there's a full moon, more crazy activity goes on at nighttime. I don't know. It's weird. Yes, correct. Lycanthropy is a subdivision of therianthropy. Yeah. Which, in the world of the Elder Scrolls, when somebody says, oh, there should be multiple different types of lycanthropes, in the world of the Elder Scrolls, you're saying it correct, because in their world, they don't have the same type of lingo in the outside world, in the real world. But if you're talking about lycanthropy in the real world, you're only referring to werewolves. But if you're talking about therianthropy, you're talking about all were creatures. Correct. And a werewolf is a therianthrope. But it's us, but it's a lycanthrope at the same time, so it's like categories. You have therianthropy, and then you have the subcategories, which would be lycanthropy. More specific species, I guess you would say. Lycanthropy is a specialized version which becomes lycanthropy. Yeah. Basically done about that. But when it comes to modern pop culture and all that, it basically comes down to the writer. So whatever the writer decides to be, that's what's going to be in their movie or book or film or game. So but the definition of the werewolf is this. It's very simple. So I'm going to be honest about this. A furry isn't a werewolf. Not at all. Because a furry is a permanent human that has features of an animal. Like, they're humans, but they have features of animals. And, well, in their world, they're seen as humans. You don't call them foxes. You don't call them anything like that. They're as humans, but they look like animals. And they stay that way. A werewolf is a person who's cursed and has to transform into this so-called beast creature. Furry does not. And also, furries are people who go to like weird conventions and crap, but besides the point. You get what I'm saying. So every time they call you a furry, they're obviously ignorant and don't know what they're talking about. That's funny though. It's funny. What is the best race for werewolves? Is that what you said? Werebeasts originally formed the ability to shapeshift into any creature with flesh, form, skinwalkers, or one such being. Yeah, some skinwalkers are werewolves, some aren't. So basically any, so, and probably orc. Orc would be your best race, then Imperial, then Nord. No, orc, Imperial, Dark Elf, Nords, any stam race will work. The weakest stam race, in my opinion, is Redguard. You can't use all your passives, but I think it hits hard. It does hit harder in the Khajiit. The Khajiit is probably the weakest, but the Khajiit will become the strongest when you have a 65% crit chance in damage. But that's only if you have crits. Other than that, that race is pretty weak. One of the weaker of the classes. Let me try this one. I don't know what I'm doing. Well, I mean, Native American legends kind of, they vary depending on what tribe and stuff, and a lot of this stuff is sacred. They don't even really talk about it. A lot of it's misstrued in pop culture and media and all that. A lot of false information out there. But no, when you say, so a skinwalker wolf would get wrecked versus a werewolf, not necessarily, because that doesn't really, I mean, if it's just a regular wolf form, yeah, most likely. But if they could turn it into the same type of creature, no, it'd be werewolf against werewolf at that point. So. A lot of it's gone because the people were killed and their culture killed and beaten out of them too. Yeah, there was a lot of atrocities that were committed, for sure. But one thing's for sure, not every single Native American tribe was friendly. They were very hostile too. Some would kill you, some wouldn't. It just depended on the tribe. Some were cannibals. So, yeah. Matter of fact, if we're talking about the native people throughout the United States and the North America, a lot of them committed human sacrifices and stuff. So, like the Mayans and Aztecs and all that, that's what they did. Some of them were cannibals. But if you're talking about the Midwest tribes and stuff like that, it varies between like Cherokees, Apaches, and all that. I mean, Navajo. I think Navajo are more wolf-based. They have more wolf deities and stuff. But I do know that basically a lot of tribes have different like deities, but they're pretty much similar. Just different names and different languages. They create their own language per tribe. But I don't know. Let's see. Look, that guy wanted to be one of them. But all tribes had, yeah. Very true. Yeah, man, I used to read up on some of the Wendigo stuff. Apparently you're not supposed to say their name, but yeah, those creepy, man. Creepy. There's really convincing stories, for sure. A lot of stories, encounters. Now, obviously, remember, stories can just be made up, but some of them appear to be true. Some of them guys really believe that that's what they saw. And it just really depends how you look at it. Yeah, I heard some really creepy stories of Wendigo, especially when they were like, take the form of people. You saw a rake, that weird skinny creature. Well, my belief, at the end of the day, man, those things, they move around like they're demons, man. That's what they do. Like, you know, they can shapeshift and all that crap, but that's my belief. But, there's just a lot of, things that we do not know. A lot of things that we don't know. Humans try to put everything in a box. That's what we try to do. When we put everything in a box, we limit ourselves. For sure. For sure. We think we know everything, but we don't. Oh, there's no such thing as that. Meanwhile, there's somebody being killed and mutilated, ripped apart by an unknown animal, and nobody knows what did it. And there's no, like, bears or lions in those areas. Lions, bears, cougars, whatever. Tigers, wolves, nothing there. But well, there's a lot of, you know, I'll be the first person to say it, there's a lot of misstrued information on Christianity and like different belief systems. people still think that to this day that Christianity was started by the Catholics, but that's not true at all. Christianity was started by a Jew. Judaism. It's a basic continuation of Judaism. But which is kind of ironic, if people actually look into the history, they'll find out that in around 300 AD, that's when the canon scriptures were made. But most people who proclaim to be a Christian aren't really Christians at all. They basically disobey the teachings of their God, Jesus, Yeshua, HaMashiach, whatever you want to call him. But at the same time, we all know, you know, by just intelligence, that we all know that there is a creator. Most people who deny the existence of a deity or a god has, like, I don't know. Like, for example, they're like, I'm a naturalist. I don't believe anything other than just the natural. But then you have to explain to them, what is consciousness? Oh, well, it's just a bunch of chemicals going on in your brain. No. What is consciousness? Not what your brain does, but, like, you know, what is it? You know what I'm saying? And then where did the fine-tuning of the universe, you look at everything around you, you can see that everything that came to an existence, everything that began to exist, came from something else. So everything that began to exist came from something. Began to exist. You know what I'm saying? There's just a lot of stuff that people need to look into. But other than that talk, but anyway, which means had wolves, but it has nothing to do, like, I have nothing wrong with Catholicism. Like, for me, you know, you can believe whatever you want, but when it comes down to certain belief systems that take things out of context from the original whatever it's supposed to be, that's when it becomes a problem. But not everything, in my opinion, not everything that's taught in Catholicism is proper to the original manuscripts and all that, obviously. But also it could be said about Protestant churches as well. There's a lot of misread information out there. Like, we know that just by atheists and New Testament scholars, we also know for the fact that there's 25,000 ancient manuscripts of the New Testament, and they all point 99.9% accuracy of one another. So we know for a fact that that was before 300 AD, before the Council of Nicaea. So I don't know. Ugh. What's up, man? Man, we got on we went on a weird topic, man. We went on like Wendigos to like skinwalkers to religion to werewolves from video games to whatever. But let's get back on ESO here. Alright. But the name of the country, Georgia, is believed to originate from the Persian word. Okay. Yeah. But through fascination of human culture, wolves have always been an animal, especially in the European places. Have always been like tied to some type of culture. Because wolves are majestic, and people used to fear wolves back in the day, you know, because they were wild, stuff like that. And there's just a lot of crazy stuff that happened. But Hey, would you recommend gear-wise and non-CP? What would you recommend gear-wise? I don't know. It depends what you want. If you want to go more damage, or you want to be tanky. I mean, there's different varieties of what you can run. Just let me know what you want to use. Like what style, and then I could probably give you recommendations. Yeah, we can use block sets too. You had a key. Yeah, I mean, you know, there was back in the day, there was people that always were like, you know, they had extra hair on their hands, they had unibrows, they had weird like color, like red hair. There's somebody like longer fingers than normal. People always associate it with that, with being lycanthropy or someone has werewolfism, but all in all, they probably don't. But you never know, man. What they do in the science labs, man. Well, okay, he didn't look visual, but he probably did weird things. But people were very superstitious, though. Man, people are very superstitious today, just like they were back in the old days. But there's a reason for that. Like I said, we still don't know everything. We can proclaim to know everything, but we don't. We know bits and pieces. It's basically we probably only know like 5% of what goes on in reality compared to everything else. He was 2 meter, and he was training and he pumped sources. Interesting. Decent damage recovery. Okay. Eternal Vigor, Alessian, and then Malakath, because you want to kind of build tanky as possible and no CP. I hate being squishy and no CP, you die so fast. So that's what I would do. Let's go fight some people, because been talking a lot. Yeah, I mean, if you were to say any of those words around those people, they would hush you up so quick. Like, the ones who believe it, yeah. Yeah. The word lycanthrope is Greek. Wait, no. Yeah, Greek, I believe, yeah. Lycos anthropos or something like that, and then they kind of revert, and the word kind of became famous throughout the centuries. I think that's how you say it. But it's lycanthrope, lycanthropic, lichen. Well, liken's a more modern word. It's basically a slang version. It's not even proper. Well, lichen is not even the full word. So it'd be lycos or lycos or whatever you want to say. Lykos. But Yeah, werewolves are really, they're really cool, man. They're really cool, but man, if I ever, like, let's say they did exist, and I walked right into one, I'm not fighting that shit. Nope. This ain't ESO. I can't run up and run up to it a great sword and try to two-shot him with Dizzy swing in real life. I think will fucking throw me into a wall and shit. Rip me apart, you know. So I think what really makes them cool is the fact that, you know, you're a person turning into something else, and you know, and it's really cool. Because some people have people like wolves and stuff. Like me, I like wolves, but I like werewolves more than wolves. But when being interested into werewolves kind of made me more interested into the actual wolf, and I wanted to study more about them. But no, I've always had like an interest in werewolves. I'm not really a big fan of. Yeah, man, that's when you knew. Yeah, that movie Bad Moon. The guy shot the werewolf in the face with a shotgun, killed him. That worked because it decapitated his head. If he would have shot at the body, it wouldn't have killed him. Yeah. So, I mean, decapitating a werewolf is probably the best way that's the best chance if you don't have silver. But in all, the werewolf ain't just gonna sit there and look and like, you know, yell at you like that. It's gonna run at you, and it's gonna like dash at you really quick. So you have like a split second to shoot it. You better hope you hit too. And even if you do manage to hit, he might fly on you and hit you and you get infected. If those, because in Legend, before the modern movies, werewolves didn't turn anybody through bites or scratches. It was more of a like curse that was placed upon you by a deity, or you had to put on like a wolf pelt of some sort, or a garb or whatever, oil, ointment, or you gotta drink the wolf or water from a wolf paw print. Bunch of crazy like superstitions and stuff, but it's usually because you're cursed or it's a gift given to you. It depends how you look at it. I don't know. But no, I mean, I wouldn't want to run into one. It's hypothetically. Yeah, werewolves are very magic. They're magic resistant. Very magic resistant. Anyone can access the magic to become. Yeah, I mean, and their belief. Yeah, and mythology. Yeah. The ways that people would usually get turned into a wolf is because they would like go on a murderous, carnivorous spree. They would eat people, and they would get cursed. Like for example, you look at King Lycaon. He got cursed by Zeus because Lycaon tried to test Zeus's power, or to see if it really was Zeus, by feeding flesh to him. Basically feeding Lycaon would feed his own son's flesh to Zeus. But yeah. Correction, the magic can be cast upon anyone by said deities. Yeah. Lycaon was forced into a wolf transformation, and he had to live out his days as one, or something like that. Well, depending on which depiction, there's different ones, different versions of it, but the original. Then you had that one tribe that would meet up after the Lycaon effect. They would meet up to do this ritual where they would turn wolves for a limited amount of time, but they would only be a wolf like one time a year. There's just so many interesting things about that, I guess, but yeah, so much information. But anybody who doesn't have an interest in this stuff would obviously call you weird and stuff, but whatever. We need to learn history. So, if we don't, we'll repeat it again. Yeah, you can go, man, you can go look all this stuff up in an encyclopedia. You can go find it on YouTube, find it on Google. But make sure some of this stuff is misinformation. I mean, you can ask me a question, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I don't know everything about them, but because I don't know certain like local legends or something, because I'm not from that area. But just general stuff about it. And there's just so much. There's just so much stuff that we don't know. A lot of people don't know up front. When did it originally start? Since the beginning of man. Man has always had this fascination of the animals. But if you want more of like a historical record that was written down, then from what I know, is Epic of Gilgamesh mentions a wolf person being turned into a wolf. I think there's another one before that. I have to research it again. Basically to refresh my memory on it. But yeah, but the more common werewolf is King Lycaon. That's the more common version that people can relate to. Yep, werewolf is meta. It should be meta. It should be the strongest damn thing that you can play as an ESO. I mean, from basic levels. Nightblade is meta. Yeah, Lycaon is probably the most well known historically. Lebeta Javadon is another one. Peter Stomp as well. He's another famous historical werewolf. There's another one. There's a few other ones as well. But yeah. Peter Stomp, Lebet of Javadon, or the Beast of Javadon. Which is a werewolf that terrorized France from like in the 1700s. Peter Stomp was just some cannibal dude that they thought was a werewolf that would murder children and women and crap. These are historical, classified, known werewolves. They don't really think they were. They don't really think that they were werewolves. At least back in the day they did, but modern times, no. There's a condition known as clinical lycanthropy where somebody thinks they're a wolf. So, yeah. Does werewolf negate passes when outside of werewolf form now? Wait, does werewolf have negative passives when outside of werewolf form now? No, they don't actually. I wouldn't mind it if they did. To make it even stronger and even better, more balanced, what they should do is come out with an armor set that allows werewolf to basically reduce the cost of your will abilities and give you an extra damage, but in your human form's absolutely ass. Kind of like how the vampire is. It would be really nice. I wouldn't mind that. But people would take advantage to kill you before you get into werewolf, and then you could tell them to, finally they will be happy. But most people just want to remove werewolf from the game, which won't happen. It was from the beginning of the game till now they won't remove it. People want to make the ultimate cost 30 seconds only. The only reason they're doing this is because they they just hate dying to werewolves. They hate dying. That's all it is. They want to be the most OP thing on the block, or like almost OP person on the block. People want it easy, man. That's all it is. They don't want to work for their wins. Doing alright. Also, how do you rate the different classes for werewolf? My top class is sorcerer. For werewolf Pacific, because you have the most passive end wolf form. After that would be necromancer, templar, nightblade. I think Dragon Knight would be last because they barely offer any passives. What should do? Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, man. But I need to get better equipment before I do all that better editing skills and stuff, so I can do all that stuff. But yeah, that'd be something that I can take into consideration. It'd be fun. I did make a werewolf lore video, or at least the part 1. I didn't make part 2 yet. But no. This is usually a gaming channel. I probably would have to just put like a little side playlist of different things. Or like you said, start a podcast. But, yeah. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. I think I need to get off a little bit. Not really much going on in Cyrodiil. But please go check out that new Imperial Physique build I came out with. I mean, it's kind of an old build, but it's newer. Tweak stuff. 65k max stamina, 40k health, and almost 30k mag. 19k tooltip. But plus 25 Malakath would be 23 something. Massive damage, and it's probably the hardest hitting heavy armor wolf build in the game. 65k stam, you can't beat that. Alright guys, catch y'all around.